agents in 2012. Okay, let's start it off with quarterbacks. Number 1, I have Peyton Manning from the Colts. I've got him going to Denver. Yesterday he spent 6 hours with the team, and I think that's a good fit for him.
Yeah, I also have Peyton Manning as well from the Colts to Denver Broncos.
I have Peyton Manning going to the Arizona Cardinals. I think it's a great fit for him there with an elite receiver like Larry Fitzgerald and a good defense to help him out on the other side. So I think it's a perfect match, and he is today meeting with the Arizona Cardinals and Ken Whisenhunt.
Okay, I believe he's also meeting with Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Fitzgerald did come and meet the press about Manning as well.
Number 2, Matt Flynn. I have him going to Miami. I think he could start over Matt Moore there, even though I do think he's overrated. Very overrated.
I do agree with that. Number 2, Matt Flynn from the Green Bay Packers going to Miami.
Yeah, Matt Flynn as well to Miami. I think if they can't get Manning, which in my opinion they won't, they will get him. But I do, like they said, he is a little overrated. He's based on one game, and I think that's not how you base your franchise quarterback if that's who you're looking for. So I think he is a good fit in Miami, but I think he needs to prove himself a little more.
Okay, number 3, I have Alex Smith from the 49ers. I think they'll just re-sign him. He brought him to the NFC Championship, so why not keep him?
Yeah, number 3, I also have Alex Smith from the 49ers staying in San Francisco.
I as well have Smith signing with the 49ers. Last year he had 3,144 yards, 17 touchdowns, and brought the 49ers to their first division win in a while and a playoff berth, and then took it to the NFC title, so I think they're going to re-sign him.
Okay, number 4, I have Kyle Orton from the Chiefs. I've got him going to Arizona. I'm not sure if he'll start, but I think he'll join the competition between the other 2.
Number 4, I also have Kyle Orton from the Chiefs, but I think he's going to the Seattle Seahawks.
I have Kyle Orton as well in number 4, but I have him remaining as a Chief. I think they're going to need Matt Castle to have some competition there. I don't think they're really sold on Castle, and I think Orton's kind of a guy to boost him up a little bit and maybe win the starting job. He had 1,758 yards last year and 9 touchdowns.
Okay, now my last quarterback, number 5, I have Jason Campbell. I've got him going to Seattle and starting over Tavares Jackson.
For number 5, I also have Jason Campbell from the Oakland Raiders, but I think he's going to the Kansas City Chiefs.
I have Jason Campbell as well, but I have him going to the New York Jets. Sources said that the Jets were interested in signing Jason Campbell, and for some reason, I like Sanchez. I think, he's kind of getting a lot of criticism, even though he did bring them to 2 AFC title games 2 years in a row. But I think they will bring in Campbell. He had 1,170 yards last year and 6 touchdowns, but he did have an injury in like week 5 or something that cost him the season, and I think he's going to leave off right where he started.
Okay, we'll be right back with our top running backs.
Okay, now we're going to do our top 5 running backs in free agency. Number 1, I have Michael Bush from the Oakland Raiders. He had 977 yards and 7 touchdowns, and I think he's going to the Indianapolis Colts.
I have Michael Bush as well, number 1. I think he is going to go to the Indianapolis Colts. He almost had 1,000 rushing yards last year, and he didn't even start a full season. So I think he'd be a good fit there now that they released Joseph Adai. So if they get Luck, that'd be a good addition.
Okay, number 1, I have Peyton Hillis from the Browns. I've got him going to the Packers because the Packers did release Ryan Grant this season, so I think he could help them in the backfield.
Number 2, I have Peyton Hillis from the Cleveland Browns. He had 587 yards and 3 touchdowns, and I think he's going to stay in Cleveland for about another season or 2.
My number 2 I have is Cedric Benson from the Cincinnati Bengals, who had over 1,000 yards rushing last year, and I think he'd be a good fit in Green Bay because Green Bay lost Grant, like Dave said, and I think they're going to need some help there. With even though Stark is there, he's not a solid running back, so Benson would be a good addition and make that offense great.
All right, number 2, I have Mike Tolbert from San Diego, and I think he will be re-signed by the Chargers, and so he can just help out Ryan Matthews.
Number 3, Cedric Benson from the Cincinnati Bengals. He had 1,067 yards and 6 touchdowns, and just like Louis, I think he's going to go to the Green Bay Packers.
Number 3, I have from the Cleveland Browns, Peyton Hillis. Remaining Cleveland, they don't have a lot of depth at that position, so they need to hang on to him. He had a very disappointing year last year, in my opinion, the Madden curse, and because of his injuries. But I think he'll get back into full health this year, and so go back to what he did to Cleveland.
Number 3, I have BenJarvus Green-Ellis from the Patriots, and I think he will be re-signed by them. They've never really had a great running game, and I don't think they need to, and I don't think they really want one.
Number 4, I have BenJarvus Green-Ellis. He had 667 yards and 11 touchdowns, and I think he's going to be re-signed by the New England Patriots, just like Dave.
Number 4, I as well have BenJarvus Green-Ellis, and I have him as well as everybody else remaining with the Patriots. Ever since Corey Dillon, the Patriots really haven't had a solid running back, and you know he's not flashy, but he gets the job done there. So I think he's a good fit there, and just remain there to help out.
4, I have Cedric Benson, and I have him going to the Jets. The Jets lost LT this season, so he can help out Sean Green.
Okay, number 5, my final running back, I have Mike Tolbert from the San Diego Chargers. He had 490 yards and 8 touchdowns, and I think he's going to be re-signed for San Diego for about another season or 2 because he really is fit for that team, I think.
Number 5, Mike Tolbert, I have remaining as a Charger. He didn't really have a great season. He only had 400-something yards, like Sammy said. But, you know, I think with Ryan Matthews there, they're going to need some power at their running game. So, you know, he's a good fit still in the Chargers to help out Matthews, like I said before. But I'm not very impressed with him. But since there's not a lot of other free agents out there on the running back position, I think he's my number 5.
Okay, number 5, I have Michael Bush from the Raiders. I've got him going to the Colts. As Louis said, they dropped Joseph Addai, so he can help them out in the backfield, hopefully help them rebuild.
Okay, we will be right back with our top 5 free agent wide receivers. Alright, and welcome back to NFL Experts, where now we're going to be going over our top 5 free agent wide receivers. Dave, why don't you kick it off?
Okay, number 1, I have Vincent Jackson from the Chargers. I've got him going to the Colts. He had 1,106 yards and 9 touchdowns this season, so with Reggie Wayne gone, I think he'd be a great fit there.
For number 1, I also have Vincent Jackson from the San Diego Chargers, and I think he's going to the New York Jets.
I have Vincent Jackson as well. He is the best receiver out of all of them in this list, and I think he will be a good fit with the Bears. The Bears don't have a great receiving core. Hester is usually mainly used for kick returns, and Johnny Knox isn't really a solid number 1. The only guy I like there is Earl Bennett, and I think if you add Vincent Jackson on the other side, give Cutler some weapons, that team will get going.
Oh yeah, okay, number 2, I have Reggie Wayne from the Colts. I've got him going to Miami. He had 960 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think with him on the other side of Brandon Marshall, that could really help the Dolphins out, even if they don't get Peyton Manning.
For number 2, I also have Reggie Wayne from the Indianapolis Colts, and I think he's going to the Chicago Bears.
Number 2, I have as well Reggie Wayne. I think he is going to go to the New York Jets because Plaxico Burress is a free agent, as well as San Antonio Holmes. So I think they're going to need someone there to help out Sanchez. I don't think their starters are going to be their receiving core is going to be pretty bad if they can't sign someone, get back one of their old 2 receivers. But I think Reggie Wayne would be a good fit there with Sanchez.
Okay, number 3, I have Marcus Colston from the Saints. I have him going to the Bears. As Louis pointed out earlier, they don't really have a good receiving game, and with him there, it could help give Cutler some more weapons.
Number 3, I have Marcus Colston from the New Orleans Saints, and I think he's going to the San Francisco 49ers.
I have Colston as well, number 3, and I have him remaining a Saint. I think they have to find a way to re-sign him because Robert Meacham is a free agent this season as well, so they need to help out. Other than Graham, they need to help Breeze out with somebody. So I think if they can find a way to get a deal done with him, it would help out Breeze a lot.
Okay, number 4, I have Brandon Lloyd from the Rams. I have him just staying in St. Louis. I think that I have the Rams getting Justin Blackman, so with Lloyd and Blackman there, it can help out Bradford and help him do better.
Number 4, I have Brandon Lloyd from the Rams, and I think he's going to the New Orleans Saints.
Number 4, Brandon Lloyd as well, and I think he's going to go to the New England Patriots with Chad Ochocinco as a free agent. I think they're going to need to add someone else on the other side of Wes Welker, and I think Lloyd would be a great fit there with Brady. So I'd like to see him in the Patriots uniform.
Okay, number 5, last I have Mario Manningham from the Giants. I think they'll re-sign him. The Giants don't usually make a lot of moves in the offseason, but I think they should keep him after what he contributed this season.
Super Bowl catch.
For my final wide receiver of free agency, number 5, I have Robert Meacham from the Saints, and I think he's going to the Indianapolis Colts.
Number 5, I have a guy that no one it's been surprised to say, but I have number 5, Mike Wallace from the Steelers. He did have a first-round tenure placed on him, so I think that his future in Pittsburgh's iffy. That's why I have him number 5, because he is technically placed on the first-round tenure, but I'd like to see where he could go. But I have him remaining a Steeler.
Yeah, I would have Mike Wallace number 1 if that first-round tenure wasn't on him.
Okay, so now we're going to go to our top 5 defensive players of free agency right after the break.
Alright, welcome back. Now we're going to do the notable defensive players in free agency. Number 1, I have Mario Williams from the Houston Texans. I've got him going to the Panthers. I don't think the Panthers have really had a good defense ever since they lost Julius Peppers, so I think he can really help them out.
Number 1, for my first defensive player, I have Mario Williams from the Texans, and I think he's going to re-sign the Texans for about another season or 2.
Number 1, I have Mario Williams as well, but I have him going to the Atlanta Falcons. I think if they can't keep John Abraham, they're going to need someone on the other side of Ray Edwards, and Williams obviously would be the best replacement.
Number 2, I have London Fletcher from the Washington Redskins. I've got him going to Miami. Taylor retired this year, so I think he can really make up for it.
For number 2, I have John Abraham from the Atlanta Falcons, and I think he's going to the Seattle Seahawks.
Number 2, I as well have John Abraham, a defensive end from the Falcons, and I have him switching kind of with Mario Williams, and I have him going to the Texans. So I think with Williams being there, they're kind of replacing each other in each team. It's kind of like a switchy-swatchy.
Switchy-swatchy.
3, I also have John Abraham, and I also have him going to Seattle. I think that they don't really have a good defense, and he can help their team a lot.
Number 3, I have London Fletcher from the Washington Redskins going to the Miami Dolphins this year.
Number 3, I have London Fletcher. He is a 37-year-old linebacker, but I have him going to the Miami Dolphins as well as Dave. I think with Taylor being left there, they are going to get another old linebacker, but he hasn't really lost his edge a lot. Last year he led the Redskins in tackles, so he's still impressive every year he's been playing.
Okay, number 4, I have Carlos Rogers, cornerback from the 49ers. But I have him ending up in Buffalo, help out their secondary and their defense.
Number 4, I have Stephen Tulloch from the Detroit Lions, and I think he's going to the Philadelphia Eagles on this one.
Number 4, I have Stephen Tulloch, and I have him going to the Eagles as well. I think with Jamar Chaney, Brian Rowe, and Foku as your starters. Chaney's the only solid linebacker on that team, so I think if they can get Tulloch in there, they'll really improve that defense even better than they are already. So I think they really need to get someone at that position. I think Tulloch's the guy.
Okay, number 5, I have Curtis Lofton, and I've got him going to the Texans, help out their defense and make up for the loss of Mario Williams.
For my final notable defensive player for agency, number 5, I have Carlos Rogers from the San Francisco 49ers, and I think he's going to the Buffalo Bills this year.
I have my number 5 is a linebacker from the Atlanta Falcons, and it is Curtis Lofton. I think he's going to go to Detroit, another switchy-swatchy. I think he's going to go to Detroit because Tulloch is going to leave, so they're going to need to replace him. Another guy in Lofton's a great linebacker that could plug up the holes in the running game.
Bye.